It's Evan here. I got Jake here. Jake, how you doing?
What's up, guys? I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Doing pretty well. Obviously, we've got some news here. So, as you guys see, probably by the title of the video, it's pretty clear what we're doing. But I'm going to do this a little bit reverse. We're going to explain what's going on in a little bit. So you got to stay tuned for that. But right now, I think I just want to give some thank yous first, just on my end. I want to say thank you first of all to all of our viewers. Whether you just watched a video for 5 seconds or whether you watched every single video we've ever put out. It's we wouldn't have made it 2 years if it wasn't for you guys. If we were getting 20 views, uh, per video, it wouldn't have lasted that long because it was especially exciting, seeing videos when we'd post videos maybe at 10 p.m. at night. Next day, you could see something's at like 100 views and then it goes up to 200. That was always very exciting. So thank you to all of our viewers. Next, I want to say thank you to all of our guests. I remember way back when we started, like all the way back in 2023, 2022, very the early portions of the channel. We had so many guests on that because we would schedule them like 3 weeks out in advance, and we had so many guests coming on that we had to actually turn some people down. We're like, I'm sorry, we'll get you on soon. We just have too many guests on. So that was always very fun. And we actually have our own little section on the YouTube. You could go to it. It has guests. I'll try to add a little more video or a little more people onto that because I think we had more. We have 10 right now. And I think obviously we had way more than 10 guests, but you guys could always go check that out, of course, too. I want to say thank you, especially to some of my family members who watched. Just to shout out, I know a lot of my family's watched, but just to shout out just a couple. Of course, my mom has been watching for the longest time. Thank you, mom. And then I want to shout out both of my grandparents, Grandpa Bob and Grandma Judy. I know you guys have been watching for a long time, and all of my family who's been able to watch. Um, I want to say thank you to anyone who bought merchandise. Jake was pumping out the merchandise. He did a good job with that. And we still have some more. Hit us up on PWTB wi@gmail.com. It's in the bio if you want some merchandise, but we still have some. Maybe I'll check with Jake on that. But anyways, thank you to everyone who bought merchandise. And then just some specific people on the channel. I want to thank Thomas especially because it was really me and Jake were the 1A, 1B the entire time, but we always had a third guy. And for the first year of the channel, that third guy was Thomas. Thomas, of course, he specialized in politics. He's got a very bright future in that. And Thomas also, he's a conservative leaning guy. He did a great job of analysis on this channel. He did a great job of just explaining both viewpoints, and that's especially something we wanted as PWTB, and I feel like we accomplished. So Thomas for the first half was sort of our third guy, and then Jordan came along, and he was sort of our third guy for the second half we did the channel. Obviously, a huge special on college football. I'm sure he'll be doing some more social media with that. So if you ever know more, or if you ever followed the Instagram account PWT or PWTV Instagram account, he was thinking about starting something with college football with that. So maybe stay tuned with that. But huge thanks to Jordan, and then just finally huge thanks to Jake. I mean, I've told him this when we were deciding what we were going to do, and I told Jake I literally could not do this without him. So we've just got memories for a lifetime. So what's going on really quick before I turn it over to Jake? We are deciding to pull the plug on PWTB. We are deciding to stop doing it, but we're doing it in a sense of feeling accomplished. We feel like we hit all of our objectives. Maybe not quite all of them. Maybe we didn't, get paid for doing the channel, or maybe we didn't get our own studio. That is something we definitely wanted to do. But it's 2 years of life memories. It's 2 years of doing something we really enjoyed doing, and we're going to keep the channel up so we have all these memories to come back and look back on. And we're so grateful for that. And that's sort of why it's so great we did it for 2 years. But and then just it wasn't a sudden choice. We didn't just randomly decide like where we're gonna quit. Like this was something obviously this summer we didn't do a lot of videos. We were trying to revive it. And sometimes I'll keep it brief. Sometimes you just lose the spark, you lose the energy. And especially to go on here, talk about subjects, sometimes pretty controversial. And to talk about them, you have to have a spark. And unfortunately, we just lost it. But again, we feel completely accomplished. And me personally, I want to shout out Noah for this, by the way. I started PWTB 4 years ago. We just did a little bit in the summer of 2020. And but now it's time for me to move on. I did podcasting. I said if I left PWTB now, that I was going to be done podcasting. I'm sticking to that word. I got to go explore new areas. But I'll always be grateful, and it was fun to do some podcasting. So I will leave it there. Jake, do you have any thank yous you want to give out?
Yeah, I mean, just, thank you to everyone, like Evan said, thank you to everyone who's watched this channel, even if you watched it for 5 minutes or you watched every video, thank you guys. Thank you to the guests, thank you to, you know, thank you to Noah. Thank you to, because Noah's actually the one who got me started. I remember 4 years ago, I came on Evan and Noah's, so it was PWTB as well. And, Noah actually left and got me started with Evan. So. And
Yeah.
also, thank you to people who have contributed, Thomas, Jordan, um, you know, and even Bradley. I mean, I know he's not here a lot, but he's been on our show a couple times. So thank you to him. And last but not least, thank you to Evan. I told Evan this too. I mean, it couldn't have been done without Evan either. So, appreciate that.
I appreciate it, my friend. It was a ton of fun. So before we leave, we're gonna leave you with some memories. So just some memories I have. Obviously, guests I mentioned just to like we had Donnie Van Slee, the country musician turned doctor. He has about 25,000 followers on Instagram. Go follow him, by the way. Not so cool. Jules, she runs a Cincinnati Reds themed uh baseball account. She's a social media influencer, has almost 20,000 followers. It was so cool that we got both the people like that on, but just everyone. Jake mentioned Bradley. I really and Bradley I've known and gotten to become a friend with. Actually, that's sometimes cool with some of the people you interviewed too, and now they're really good friends. But Bradley, he covered a tough time because he's an Oakland A's fan, and he covered and came on the show multiple times to talk about their move in a very professional manner. I know sometimes it got a little heated, and rightfully so because the A's got
Yeah.
screwed. I always appreciate him for coming on that. And then we had like author Stuart Miller. I forget what he wrote for the life of me, but very eloquent guy, very well spoken. We've had coaches, we've had tons of guests. So I got to say thanks to that. Just some of the predictions we've had too. Like we made some sports predictions. I know Jake remembers this one. With the Georgia starting quarterback role going forward, it was going to be Brock Vandergriff, who's now on Kentucky, and Carson Beck, the little known Carson Beck, who I think was a 4-star and Vandergriff was a 5-star. And we said Vandergriff was going to start, and it turns out I'd say Carson Beck's doing pretty well for himself. Wouldn't you say, Jake?
Yeah, Carson Beck's doing pretty well. He's in the running for Heisman Trophy this year. Brock Vandergrift's on the Kentucky team that's not doing very well. So I'll admit I was wrong on that.
Hey, I agreed with you too, but that's fun. And I'm sure there's plenty of other predictions. Probably some predictions we nailed, and it's probably some we didn't do so well on. So we'll get to see those as the years go by. Because like I said, we'll keep this channel up. And really just the last memory I have is just having fun. Like we just had a blast doing the show. We'd like play, hyped up music to get hyped up. We would just chill, come on here, and we would have a lot of fun. And again, it's not to say we weren't having fun at the end. We just weren't having as much fun at the end. And sometimes you just got to know when your time is up. And the last thing I'll add before I'll let Jake put a little more memories, and the last thing I will say is PWTB did our job. And if you look at our first video, what did we want to do? We wanted to go straight down the line. We wanted to, yes, give our opinions on stuff, but we wanted to present both sides first. We wanted on issues because so much today, and I'm sure we probably could have got more clicks if we just went straight to the, baiting sort of titles, like only take this side or only take this side. And it's okay to take a side, but you should explain both sides first. And I feel like I accomplished that mission. Jake did, Thomas did, Jordan did, and anyone who came on, we held them to that standard. And I could probably say I did my best with that because I think our world really needs it. So that's what I'll say to that. But any other memories, Jake?
Yeah, lots of great memories. I think my favorite guest was obviously the Brookwood head coach. I think it was Robbie Gilbert. Um, who coached Jordan Walker. So that was really fun to talk to him.
That was really good. He was a high school coach, right?
Yeah,
That's really cool because he knew he's going to develop
Brookwood High School in Atlanta, Georgia. Yep,
he's going to develop in a good hitter for our Cardinals. Yeah, we had a lot of
yep.
fantastic guests on. I'm going to try to add more guest videos, but with that, I'm gonna say have a good life, guys. If I know you in person, thank you for watching these videos so much. If not, have a good life, and I'm glad I got to, touch your guys' life in some way. But